Welcome to the Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. My name is Charlotte Jessup and today I'm going to be talking you through my budget. So I try and do these posts every month and it just gives you a behind the scenes of how I do my budget, the things I think about when budgeting, and you get to see the spreadsheet that I use to do this. So let's look at my budget for February. Okay, so this is my budget spreadsheet. Now you can get a free copy of the spreadsheet by clicking the link that's in my description. I use this for my own finances. This is literally my actual budget, okay? There's no other secret version of this that I do in real life. This is it. So as you can see over on that left-hand side, I have my wages. So this is the money that is coming in. So this is made up of the income that comes to me from my business. And actually this goes like partly to me, partly to my husband, but I've just put it under me for now. It goes into a joint account. We also had some income from my husband. He did like a part-time job over Christmas, so that money that's in there is that. He also had, there's even more money that isn't even included on this, but we are just saving that money at the moment. So he told me the other day he had like another £1,000 that he'd done in his business as a video editor, so probably should have put more on that, but it went straight into savings, so we're just going to ignore that for now. We also have this money underneath. It's the child benefit money, so we have 2 kids, that money comes in. It's about £140. And this month there wasn't any other stuff that was like side hustles or anything like that. So I just left that blank. So then the bulk of the rest of the spreadsheet is about where the money goes. And we have some kind of like typical expenses. So we have our mortgage that has been fixed in for the next sort of 18 months. So that one hasn't changed. And our council tax, we haven't had anything from them about changing that yet. Although I'm expecting that there might be a price increase around sort of like April time. But for now, that has stayed the same as it has been for the last year. Now, gas and electricity, then this one's gone up. So last month, I think I paid £60 for this. And that was an amount that I set. I actually switched providers a few months ago because my supplier had, I was finding them really expensive, so I switched, managed to get a good price, but we've been spending a lot more time at home. The heating has gone on like loads. So actually my supplier contacted me and was like, well, I think you're going to need to put this price up to cover your payments. So that's what they've done. It's gone up. I'm not feeling too bad about it. The previous supplier that I was on used to do like a reduced fee in the summer, so I paid less in the summer and then I'd pay more in the winter. So this kind of reflects that. This is not out of alignment of what I was paying before, so I'm quite happy with that figure, even if it does feel quite expensive at the moment. Water has stayed the same. Things like our internet, I changed that a couple of months back. That's stayed the same, no additional cost there, and the same with our mobile phone contracts too. We have no additional other utilities. We're not paying for things like Sky TV or I guess anything else really. It's literally just the ones that are on there. That covers everything that we need. We have a few things in entertainment that I'll talk about in a minute, but yeah, that is the bulk of it there. Now in the grocery section, you will see that I just have this one big amount. And I put that in eating out. Now, I'm not spending like £1,300 a month on eating out. Actually, what we have is we have a credit card. So I kind of like work a month behind. So we have a credit card that earns us cash back. Now, though I'm not in debt, I don't carry a balance on this. This is just where we kind of like put our expenditure and we actually make money on this. About once a year we will get a payout from this, and the typical payout's around £200–250 just from putting things like our groceries and, well, as much of our expenses as we can onto that credit card. Now what this means is that it just comes in one lump sum. Now this one is quite high, okay, and part of this is that there was a lot of like Christmas food shopping went on this, so that was obviously higher. There was obviously things like Christmas holidays, we did a few additional activities, had a few takeaways and things like that. So this one is a bit higher than I would like, but it's not completely out there, so I'm okay with this. This normally covers things like, it will cover all our food, it will cover eating out, it will cover takeaways, it also covers things like fuel costs, it will cover things like days out. So we are working a month behind. It works for us. We know like what's a good figure, what's a bad figure, and we check on this regularly. So I just put that in there just to kind of, so it has a place. I know I've got to pay for it. It's essentially like a bill rather than something I need to plan out my expenditure for. Now, typically for food shopping, we are spending about like £100+ a week. Now this includes a whole lot of things. So this will be like toiletries, this will be, cleaning products, loads of different stuff basically. You know, we will put things up there like stationery stuff for the kids, maybe a few bits for the business. All of that will go into that pot. So let's look at transport then. So again, like I said, the fuel costs are going to be in that credit card bill, okay? Everything else in that, I actually have a sinking fund for. So I have calculated that I need about £35 every month to ensure that things like the MOT, the car insurance and the car tax are paid annually. Now this is going to happen in the next month or so. So actually we need to be sorting out things like the MOT and the car insurance in the next few weeks. So it could be that I need to tweak this amount going into the next kind of year's cycle of this, so that I can increase the amount I have in my sinking fund for the following year. So I will come back to my savings because I kind of like leave that to the end. Now, this is not normally like the strategy that I promote. I kind of talk about paying yourself first. But I just want to make sure that those basics are kind of covered. The things that I know are going out are all in place. And then I can kind of go to town on my savings. I know there's going to be money left over. I prioritise this, but I want to like tweak the final details before I kind of firm up that savings pot. So I'm going to come back. So entertainment wise, like I say, most of the, you know, if we go to the cinema, that will go on the credit card. We have an idea in our head of roughly what's good to spend on that. We don't do like one thing per week. So there might be like a meal out, or we'll like take the kids, soft play, something like that. But again, that goes on the credit card. So it's kind of all covered from our end. So in this entertainment section, we also have things like kids' activities. So my kids do beavers and squirrels. So that's their subscriptions for that in February. Everything else was kind of paid for either half-termly or termly. So we don't have any additional costs for that until March again. So just those two things that need paying for this month. So that's budgeted in there. Now I could set up a sinking fund for this to maybe cover some of the other stuff, but they're not huge costs, so I'm happy to do that on like a month-to-month basis. The other thing that we have in there is our Netflix subscription. It's the only one that we're really paying for monthly, so again that goes in there under entertainment. Now we do have a couple of insurances, so we have we've got life insurance, which comes out monthly. And we also have an additional insurance that covers things like there's travel insurance, roadside insurance, mobile phone insurance. It's kind of like as part of a bank package. So we have that come out of there too. We also have house insurance, but again, I have a sinking fund set up for this that I've already fully funded. I decided just to top it up. So that is ready to go. So when that comes around, and that doesn't come around until I think the middle of the year. So I don't need to pay for that for a little while. So everything else in that kind of like personal section is again covered by, you know, it goes on the credit card and then we pay it off every month. So I'm not really allocating an expenditure there. Again, clothes, we kind of just buy them. We're in a really fortunate position now where we can just buy things as we need them. So I'm not setting a particular budget for that. Like I say, if the credit card bill starts getting a little bit high, we rein it in. And then, you know, if it's kind of looking okay, then maybe we'll buy a few extra things. So we know how that works. We've then got this giving section. We don't have any birthdays in Feb, so we don't need to allocate any money aside for that. The kids have a few kids parties coming up, but we've already got gifts aside for that, kind of like leftover from Christmas and things. So we've got that sorted. I do have a sinking fund that's set up for Christmas, so I put some money in there. This is maybe one of the categories that I want to tweak because I'm not sure whether what I was paying last month with inflation and all these rising costs is actually going to cover what I need it to come this Christmas. So I might reflect on this, top it up, maybe put a little bit extra in so that I can carry that, you know, have a bigger pot when it gets to Christmas time. Looking back at the savings then, we are going like full out on the savings. So basically anything my husband earns, so we've got the £700 that's over on its wages side. He's saving that. It takes a little bit out to do some like fun stuff here and there, but most of that is being saved. He also has this additional money that I haven't even put on this sheet that's going into savings too. So out of this money that's on here, we're also going to put £500 into investments. So we have a stocks and shares ISA, so that money will go in there. This is kind of like my typical amount that I like to do. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but I try and aim to get that £500 in there somewhere. On top of that, we have the kids ISA. So again, this is stocks and shares ISAs. I'm paying £50 into each of them like every month. That should build them up a nice pot for when they're 18 and they can carry that forward for, I don't know, retirement or whatever it is they want to use that for. But they've got like a nice lump of money that's growing there and is getting the benefit of being in the stock market and riding that wave, okay? So they're doing all right. It's something I like to do. I haven't got any additional overpayments on the mortgage. I've kind of like called it on that a little bit. It may be something that I turn back to, but for now I'm really focused on building up our savings and building up our investments too. So there you go. That is my budget. That's all the money allocated, that's all the costs covered. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm aware that a lot of kind of our expenditure that you may be interested in is kind of lumped into that kind of like credit card bill. So if you have any specific expenses that you want me to talk about, please drop them in the comments below. While you're there, don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe so you can see future versions of this video for the months ahead. And if you want to, you can check out lots of my other videos on all sorts of money topics. Big thank you for watching. I will catch you in the next one.